I knew that evil wins when good people stay silent. And so for the rest of my life, I will make sure that I don't stay silent.
The harsh, unrelenting jolt Erica felt hit harder than anything since the family implosion. But this time, it didn't come from outsiders. It came from the very people she thought would stand by her, Charlie Kirk's parents. Robert and Catherine Kirk had quietly, decisively moved in, seizing control and filing for joint custody of the children. And let me make this clear, it wasn't fury or revenge driving them. This wasn't about grudges or petty retribution. They acted out of something far heavier, a relentless need to protect the fragile balance of their family. In their eyes, Erica was unraveling, no longer placing the children above all else as she once did. And Erica? She hadn't even seen it coming. Shock, confusion, and a deep, disorienting disbelief overtook her. Everything had shifted faster than she could process, and every move had been calculated with surgical precision. What stunned everyone watching was how calmly Charlie's parents moved, leaving Erica with no room to argue, no opportunity to resist. They didn't yell. They didn't demand. They simply placed her squarely before the consequences they believed she had long tried to bury. Weeks earlier, they released a statement that quickly spread across social media, appearing to offer sympathy. Erica has been trying to hold herself together, but the burden has become unbearable. Please keep her in your thoughts. On its surface, it seemed gentle, even supportive. But beneath that soft phrasing was a razor-sharp tactic. It sent a clear, unmistakable signal. Erica was fragile, stressed, unwell, and anyone in that state could not provide the stability the children desperately needed. It was subtle, silent, brilliant. Enough to make the public question, enough to plant seeds in the minds of observers. And when you consider Erica's recent media appearances, the odd statements, the erratic behavior that kept eyes and tongues talking, it becomes glaringly obvious why the Kirks had stepped in. They said, "Please pray for her," and the world heard compassion. But the world missed the true message. Erica was no longer fit to care for the children. This wasn't cruelty, it was strategy. A meticulous, deliberate strategy crafted by two people who had been tracking every move of their daughter-in-law since the day Charlie's life changed forever. At first, it seemed extreme, almost draconian. But in the Kirk's eyes, it was unavoidable. Since Charlie's departure, Erica had changed in ways they could neither anticipate nor comprehend. She appeared constantly in the media. She made statements that raised more questions than answers. And her decisions, in their view, jeopardized not her physical safety, but the children's emotional and psychological stability and their long-term well-being. Yet the deepest source of concern was far more personal, far more unsettling. Erica seemed, impossibly, inexplicably, to be attempting to replace Charlie. In a bombshell interview, she declared that no one could ever match her husband. But just moments later, in front of millions of live viewers, she claimed to see a reflection of Charlie in J.D. Vance. To Robert and Catherine, that wasn't a misstep. It was a signal, a terrifying one.
Wives, do not compare your husband to other women's husbands. No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President.
Whispers began to swirl in the media. A chilling pattern started to emerge. Erica might be positioning herself alongside J.D. Vance to craft a public image. Analysts noticed it first, the subtle ways she inserted herself into narratives, the flashes of carefully curated appearances. J.D. Vance, rising quickly in a major political movement, carried a reputation, and yet, his family image didn't sit right with certain audiences. And that's where Erica seemed to step in. A young, striking woman, 2 children in tow, a story of faith, of resilience, of overcoming unimaginable loss. To some, she looked like the missing piece, the perfect complement to what Vance lacked publicly. Robert and Catherine Kirk saw it instantly. They knew their son. Charlie had always been fiercely protective of his image and, more importantly, of his children. He would never, under any circumstances, allow the children to be turned into props, background decorations, or symbols for any cause or campaign. For him, they were sacred. They were untouchable by politics, by public opinion, by adult ambition. And yet, in the eyes of his parents, the scene unfolding before them was the exact opposite. They watched, horrified, as the children were subtly woven into interviews, their faces and names appearing alongside cryptic, dramatic clips that even seasoned adults struggled to understand. That was the line Robert and Catherine could not ignore. The children were not props. They were not an image to be polished for public consumption. They were the last tangible link to their son, and protecting them became their singular, unwavering mission. Charlie had long been known for his uncompromising stance on family privacy. The world hadn't seen a single photo of Erica during her pregnancy, let alone the children. For him, the boundary between the public and the private was absolute. He and Erica had repeatedly received messages that raised alarms, messages that forced them to take extraordinary measures to safeguard their family. It was this protective instinct, this absolute conviction, that led Charlie to one unyielding decision. His children's images would never appear in public. They would not be pawns, they would not be symbols, they would not be dragged into the messy, unrelenting spectacle of adult agendas.
Are they still asking, "Where's Daddy?"
Yes, my daughter continues to ask. I told her the other day, because she said, I just miss Daddy, and where's Daddy? When is he coming home? And I said, baby, Daddy's still with Jesus. And I said, they are so busy. And I said, if ever you want to talk to Daddy, you just look up to the sky and start talking to him. He can hear you.
This was exactly the nightmare Charlie had feared. Meticulous, detail-oriented Charlie, who had always guarded every corner of his children's world, would never have agreed to such a soft, yet dangerously misleading narrative. And Robert and Catherine? They would have walked through fire before allowing it. They knew their son's heart. He had always demanded the truth for his children, stability, clarity, and he would never tolerate vague half-truths designed to sidestep emotions. And yet, this was only the opening act. What followed would twist reality into shadows, colors blurring, lines fading, leaving Charlie's parents gripped with a new, gnawing anxiety. They began noticing Erica in ways that unsettled them, how often she appeared in public, how she framed her interviews, the stories she told, stories only she could narrate. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, a more alarming truth emerged. Erica wasn't just changing. She was drifting further from the values Charlie had held sacred. It wasn't personal anymore. This had become a matter of emotional stability, of safeguarding two young children whose world was already fractured. And then the darkness deepened. Questions piled up faster than answers could come, leaving Robert and Catherine in a state of relentless worry. Erica no longer seemed anchored to one path, one relationship, one purpose. She appeared to be testing waters, opening doors wherever they might lead, chasing possibilities that made even the most optimistic observers uneasy. The Kirks watched in silent alarm as Erica moved effortlessly between J.D. Vance, whom she had once claimed reminded her of Charlie, and other men, appearing intimate, comfortable, public, all under the glaring eyes of millions. To Robert and Catherine, these were not innocent gestures. They were signals. Signals that Erica was exploring multiple paths at a time when the family's vulnerability was at its peak, and then there was the transformation in her appearance. Once, she joked she lived 90% of her life like Adam Sandler, casual, unassuming, comfortable. Now, every media appearance told a different story. Flimsy dresses, heavy makeup, camera-ready perfection, Hollywood glamour in place of her former simplicity. I don't look like this, she had said herself. Can we pick someone else? Yet the change was undeniable. The shift sparked debate, outrage, confusion. People began asking the hard questions. Is this really how a mother who has suffered such a profound loss should behave? Even her former supporters hesitated, whispering doubts. One viral comment cut straight to the bone. Erica is not the model of resilience. 2 weeks after her husband's tragedy, she's busy on podcasts, receiving awards, climbing stages, attending galas, while the children who just lost their father wait for a hand to steady them. The truth to many was glaring. Family isn't only the husband, it's the children, the fragile hearts in need of quiet, steady guidance, a moment to breathe, to mourn. And yet, Erica appeared relentlessly, always in the spotlight, shaking hands, giving speeches, ascending a social ladder that seemed cruelly out of step with the loss she had endured. Meanwhile, the two children, fragile hearts, still trembling from the shock of losing their father, seemed to appear in Erica's world only when it benefits her narrative. In her interviews, her posts, her speeches, they surface not as grieving little souls, but as emotional props meant to strengthen her image as the heroic, unbreakable mother. And for Robert and Catherine Kirk, this crosses a line they refuse to tolerate. They see the danger crystal clear. If Erica continues down this path of unstable relationships and a performative rise through the media spotlight, the children could be left adrift, or worse, dragged into adult games they should never be part of. Molded into symbols for a storyline Erica has either unconsciously created or deliberately crafted, and for Charlie's parents, that line is sacred. They will not allow anyone, not the world, not the media, and certainly not Erica, to use their grandchildren as stepping stones while Charlie's real legacy hangs in the balance. But the Kirk family's fears go far beyond glamour, ambition, or image building. What terrifies them lies deeper, beneath the surface, hidden connections, invisible alliances, silent corridors of power. The truth is chilling. They don't know who Erica is tied to. They don't know who is guiding her, elevating her, escorting her into elite circles Charlie himself used to treat with caution. They don't know who is opening doors that are normally locked to ordinary people, and worst of all, they don't know who Erica answers to. That question haunts Robert and Catherine all night long, because after Charlie's death, they notice something unsettling. Erica is never alone anymore. There's always someone nearby, a handler, a protector, a shadow, a presence that doesn't belong to their world. A presence they never saw while Charlie was alive. These suspicions didn't appear out of thin air. They exploded the moment internet investigators uncovered something truly bizarre. 2 aircraft, Egyptian jets, and a pair of Gulfstreams named SUBTT and SUBND had overlapped with Erica's locations between 68 and 73 times over a 3-year period, from 2022 to September 2025.3 years. Over 70 overlaps. Not once. Not twice. Over 70. That pattern didn't follow Charlie, a man deeply embedded in national politics. No, it followed Erica. Only Erica.no1 in the online community bought the idea of coincidence. A coincidence doesn't happen 70 times. And as digital analysts dug deeper, new theories burst online. Was this a secret protection unit? A private intelligence network? A powerful organization monitoring Erica for reasons that no ordinary citizen could possibly understand? Or, and this theory rattled even the skeptics, was Erica herself part of a larger arrangement, deliberately meeting with these forces, with the aircraft acting as her discreet escorts? At first, it all sounded too surreal. Until it didn't. That's when Candace Owens dropped a bombshell. An insider had reached out to her privately, confirming the unthinkable. The person these aircraft were tracking wasn't Charlie. It was Erica. Erica was the one the planes had monitored for years, and the data proved it. Flight paths, duplicate maps, time-stamped overlays. Independent researchers verified every detail. All evidence pointed to one chilling truth. Erica had connections far beyond anything the public imagined. For Robert and Catherine, this wasn't curiosity anymore. It was a warning flare. If Erica was backed, monitored, protected, or directed by a powerful entity, then their grandchildren might be living inside a world the Kirks didn't understand, couldn't penetrate, and had no ability to defend them from. And to grandparents fighting to preserve their son's legacy, that is the most dangerous threat of all. The controversy grew even darker when flight tracking experts published another revelation. Erica, or places she visited, overlapped with the routes of 2 high-profile Gulfstream aircraft known for frequenting international power hubs.